if you want to trade options, and let's say you've already got a good amount of experience under your belt trading stocks or even trading some other asset class, I think that it's going to take you anywhere between 6 to 12 months of dedicated study. Now, well, within that period, you're going to start to learn the nuances of options. You're going to start to learn the different types of things that you need to learn in order to trade options. And there's a variety of ways to trade options, right? Like you've got the guys that are just using options for leverage and they're trading directionally, right? Like this is what Felix Fry from Options Geek talks about. I did an interview with him. Go check out that interview. It's fantastic. There's options traders that use spreads and things like iron condors and flying monkeys and all different kinds of crazy things that you can just think of. Geez, just thinking about that puts a frog in my throat. But anyway, there's probably a frog pattern that you can trade well with options too. It's ridiculous, but there's so many different types of ways that you can trade options. You need to figure out what type of an options trader you want to be, right? Like there is no right or wrong. It's a first thing, right? Like just thought, like if you're the beginner that was figuring out what kind of a stock trader you wanted to be or what kind of a forex trader you wanted to be, the first thing that you need to do is figure out what's your goal, right? Like once you know what the goal is, you can reverse engineer how to get there. It's just like if you're putting an address into the GPS of a car, right? Like you put the address in and then it can reverse engineer how to get there and the best ways to get there based on where you're at and route you around traffic or all these things. Because it knows what the goal is, right? Like you need to do the same thing. Figure out what the goal is first and then reverse engineer how to get there. So once you've figured out that you have your goal and that you want to learn how to be an options trader, then yeah, it's the same kind of thing. If you're putting in full-time dedication to learning a particular style in options, give yourself 6 months to a year to learn it, become proficient at it, have mentors and other guidance, that maybe you're taking courses, you have a community around you that's helping you learn this particular style, and then give yourself that testing period too, because it's possible that you could start going down this route and you're 6 months in and you're like, you know what? This isn't for me. I kind of like options, but let's say that there's some other way that I could use options that might be better for me, right? Like, so part of it is going to be a testing period, right? Like, well, where it's like you walk into Baskin Robbins and you're gonna try the 31 different flavors to figure out which is your favorite flavor, right? Hopefully you start to test a little bit here, a little bit there, and you're not 6 months a year in, but you could very well be 6 months a year in and then be like, you know what, like there's other ways to trade options. So I think that if I were to advise you on how to go about doing it, the first thing, like I said, figure out what the goal is, reverse engineer your way down to it. Then from there, start to read about the different types of traders that have done this successfully, learn what it's like, then like test it out on a real small scale first and see if you like it, see if you're able to execute those styles well. Maybe you thought that you could, but then you can't. And where you feel like, you know what, this isn't right for me, I don't like this. Fantastic, you just saved yourself a year of heartache and a bunch of money in the process. Then you can move on to a different style, right? Like, if you're like me, you end up being the type where you're going to learn things the hard way. Most of the time I learn things the hard way. I did that with options too, right? Like I started out trying to trade options just as a straight up swing trading strategy, and that worked for me at first, right? Where I would buy options as a replacement for stock, and that worked for a time. But I started to think, well, I've got I'm trading the option, I'm getting the leverage out of it, but I'm also dealing with this time decay, and I wasn't sure if I was picking the right one. Then I met Felix Fry, and I started to learn which options and which strikes to use, right? Then I started to think a little bit more about, yeah, you know what? If I'm also interested in day trading. If I'm day trading using options, then that time decay variable goes out the window, right? One less thing to have to worry about. Fantastic. Now I just need to find the right strike, and I need to make sure that there's liquidity in both the stock and in the option. Great, now I'm able to trade it directionally the way that I was doing with swing trades, but just on a lower time frame, and I'm able to day trade it basically using the same rules that I had before. That has been extremely, extremely successful for me. In fact, I'm about to do another video where I'm going to walk you through how just successful that was. I was able to take a very small testing account that I had, right? Like I think I only had about $3,000 in this account, and I was just playing around testing different strategies, and that account went into a steep drawdown, right? But it was a small account, didn't care about it too much. But then I looked at it and was just like, shit, 65% drawdown. That's no good. So whatever I was testing was clearly not working great. So then started this day trading strategy within this small account, right? So I'm dealing with the PDT rule, and I'm trading, and I wanted to day trade these options. I was able to work myself out of that hole in about 6 months with this strategy, and I found the thing that worked for me. But it came after a lot of different testing and slamming my head against the wall for a long period of time. You don't have to do that. You can figure this stuff out before, rather than doing it the hard way, which apparently I like to do sometimes.